Good morning. It's Monday. Where are the weeks going? Lovely to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're well. We've been seeing some great signs of spring in Edinburgh over the weekend. We've got some lovely snowdrops and crocuses, so I think everyone's feeling a bit more positive, which is great. And it's always nice to be with everybody on a Monday for our regular cooking session live from Italy with Livia. And let's just see where she is, if she's ready to see what she's going to be cooking today.
Hello, I'm here, very ready as usual.
Perfect. How are you, Livia?
Very well, thank you. It seems like really spring has came, so it's quite warm all of a sudden. So we have a lot of flowers in my terrace coming out. So it changed the day, really. It makes everything look different.
Yeah,
how are you?
Yeah, no, we're really good actually. It's really nice. Feels a bit more
have you been quite busy in the office, or?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have definitely. And I think we had a busy weekend, actually. It was a bit like the old days. People were starting to book holidays again. So I think people are getting a bit more positive, a bit more optimistic. We've got staycations in Scotland. They're really busy. And actually, we had people looking to book some holidays to Italy for the autumn. So yeah, so fingers crossed.
That's really good. It seems like really you are going very well with all the problems. It's going to be sorted faster in UK, which is really good. So I can see everyone more happy. And also, I've heard that you've been having quite a good weather, because I was doing quite a lot of online lessons, and during the lessons we chat about the weather all the time. That's my way to start the lesson, is to ask about the weather, because I feel like it's a way for me to be there. I don't know, and for you to be here. So good weather inspire you to cook. I don't know, spring flavors or spring ingredients, maybe.
Yeah, you feel better. You feel better. And tell me, Livia, what we're cooking today?
Okay, so today we are going to cook a traditional dish from Sardinia. Now, I know there's a lot of person that can wait to go to Sardinia with Flavours. And that's what we're going to do in the future. I think, Lorna, for sure, we have to set it up, because Sardinia is beautiful. It's a beautiful island that has a lot of, fish dishes, but not just fish, also a lot of meat, because it's quite very green and with a lot of, woods in the center. So they have tradition about meat and fish and a lot of different pastas that you could learn how to make. And today we are going to make fregola. Okay. So this is fregola sarda. I'm going to show you. I'm going to take some. And the way to cook it will be with a lot of different seafood, let's say. Actually, I spend my Monday morning before we do the live to go find the freshest ingredients that I can. I don't really live on the sea, so sometimes it's quite difficult, but still you can make a good fregola with seafood with the ingredients that are fresh and good.
Yeah, I've got my fregola here, Livia. I found it.
Che brava!
Yeah, I got it online actually. It's really unusual actually. It's a bit like they say it's a Sardinian couscous, and it's quite texture.
It's really different. It's a substitute for risotto. It's a good substitute for risotto. So as you can see, I mean, the grain is quite thick. It's like a thick couscous, let's say, typical really just in Sardinia. So couscous is typical in Sicily too, but fregola is really just from Sardinia. And it comes originally from a thick grain, so of semola flour that I can show you here. I got some because I was actually in Sicily during summer, so I kept some. Okay, so this is a thick grain of semola flour. Just to remind you, semola flour is durum wheat grain. It comes from durum wheat. So using these thick grains of this flour and a terracotta pot, much bigger than these, pouring some water and some thinner semola flour, if you just do this movement with your fingers towards the terracotta pot, you would end up to have fregola. So obviously, this is not made by hand. As you can see, it's perfect. It really is very clear that it's not made by hand. But fregola can be also used, obviously traditionally made by hand, and can be used in many different ways. The most traditional way maybe is to boil it with stock, so it's like used in a soup. Okay, but now the modern way to cook it is with fish. Okay, so that's make it very
fish. And we've got the recipe. Kieran's Manning Facebook page, so Yeah, I see lots of comments. We've had nice messages from Dilith. Dilith, we're going to be watching about the rugby on Saturday, Sunday, fingers
Ciao,
crossed.
Del. I call it Del. Yeah, my Italian pronunciation.
Manette. I think it's Val there. Val was posting. She had made your ragu sauce over the weekend. That was a really popular.
I've seen the picture. I'm very happy. I'm very happy that these lessons are helping everyone to try these recipes, and it's also good that we make them quite clear and easy to be done, and when they are at home.
And I see Caroline Topless as well is there too, and Mark. So yeah, it's really nice to see everybody. Hope you're well and catching up and inspired to cook. So I meant to say, actually, we're not doing a cookbook giveaway today, but I've actually got about 4 packets of fregola. So if anybody would like a packet of fregola, just pop your name in the comment. Just say in the comments, just say fregola, and we can post these out to you, and you can try if you're inspired. So yeah, if anyone would like.
That's really good. Yeah. Lauren, you always have really great ideas. I don't know, I'm shocked when you have these things. I'm always very. Oh, sorry, my cat smells the fish and is coming in the kitchen because she would. So okay, so I'm going to start just introducing you to all the different ingredients that we're going to use. And as I was saying, I'm making these in my kitchen here in Emilia-Romagna, which is not really a famous place for fish, or not for certain fish, but I managed to find some that maybe you have never seen before. These are called, let's say, cicale in part of Italy. Okay, well, I'm going to show you how to clean them. Have you ever seen these, Lorna?
Yeah, I've seen them in fish markets, in Italy, but I haven't seen them here.
Okay, so, and then I'm going to use a calamaro. Okay, I bought it, not clean, so that I can show you how to clean it and how to peel it. This is fresh, it's not frozen, not defrosted. Instead, these are frozen, obviously, because they are not local and they have to travel quite a lot to come here. But it was the only kind of prawns that I could have bought with the head on, because I will explain you why we need the head on, and then some just normal prawns, and then obviously parsley, sun-dried tomatoes, some wild fennel. I got a plant outside, so I like to use it all the time. And then garlic, obviously. Okay, and the most important ingredients, which are mussels and clams. Okay, these kind of clams are not really vongole, but they're called arselle. That's what we can find here, fresh, in Emilia-Romagna right now. So arselle are the one that grows down deep. The deepest they live is in the sand at 2 meters depth. So it's not very difficult to catch them. Obviously, as you know, clams and mussels, so these seafood, are always fresh and alive when you cook them. So they cannot travel from too far. Usually our clams, our mussels, when we don't find them here from Emilia-Romagna, they come from Puglia. And for this, Antonio would be very proud of this. So they come from a town called Castro, okay? But you can see that the mussels are fresh when they are sealed. A mussel like this, I kept this one here to show you. It's not alive, obviously, anymore, because he has released the mussels. So it should be better to leave it and throw it, and keep it on the side. Instead, the ones that are still alive, they are alive because they have this kind of cord that they produce to stay attached to the rocks usually. So you should pull it up like Antonio always teach you when you go to Puglia, okay, to clean them. And you see they stay closed because they are still alive. Instead, there's another way to clean the clams that I will now show you. I got some prawns here already peeled and also cut in half, just for them to be a little bit curly when they cook. Okay, so these are all the ingredients. Dawn, if you got, anytime you want to interrupt me, you can interrupt me.
No, it's fine, I'll interrupt you. I was going to say, we did a really nice class on Saturday. Letitia Clark, who's an English cook based in Sardinia, she did a live class with us on Saturday afternoon. And it was lovely actually, because she was cooking clams with pasta alla vongole.
Yeah, I know. I've seen some pictures. It's great. Yeah, I never met her. I would like to meet her sometime. Yeah. I can see she always posts really nice pictures.
Yeah, but what was quite interesting actually, she was saying that if you couldn't find fresh, you couldn't necessarily find fresh, you could actually use frozen seafood. I thought that was quite an interesting idea and easier for some people too. It was nice actually on Saturday. She had set up her kitchen. It was she had set up outside on her terrace, and she was cooking sort of al fresco. and everyone was just like looking. It looked amazing, and it was blue skies, and it was sunny. It was nice to see. But yeah, it was. She did.
She's very lucky to live there. Yeah. Where does she live? Where does she live?
I think she lives down near Olbia. Yeah, she's been in Sardinia for a long time, and yeah, she did pasta with clams, and then she did a flourless chocolate cake. So yeah, very yummy.
But she lives in an area which is very famous for mussels. So for example, for mussels, so they are very good quality and they come from everywhere. So I'm going to take the head while you're chatting. I'm going to start cleaning the fish.
Yeah.
Because what we need is the head of the prawns to make what we call fumetto. Okay, so to make, let's say, a fish stock that we will use to cook fregola. Okay, the idea is that fregola have to be cooked as if it was a risotto, but it got a slightly different consistency and it's really good. And you can cook fregola in many different ways, I will tell you, but the fish one, which is the modern way to cook it, is really on fashion now, and is a really good substitute for risotto. So consider that you could do the same process that we're going to do to cook a risotto, okay, with the same ingredients. Okay, and I'm going to start cleaning the prawns while you're chatting, and I'm going to point here. Yeah.
Just a quick question, Livia. In terms of the seafood, could you maybe increase that? For example, if you didn't like mussels or you preferred clams, could you have a different quantity of seafood, or do you have to really stick to the ingredients?
Sure. Sure. You can make it. You can make it with many different ingredients, you know. And also, as I was saying, you don't have to do it with fish. So, for example, you could cook it even just with prawns and calamari. For example, you can add some vegetables like, for example, zucchini, courgettes, for example, could be good. So you can use many different ingredients. It's just that the tradition. I always like to show you the recipes the way they are traditional, usually. So traditionally, the most famous one, fregola, I think, is cooked with arselle, which, as I was saying, they are the vongole, and they have a good quality of vongole there, and slightly bigger than mine. Now I want to show you how to wash arselle, so how to clean them. Now I come with them. Usually when you buy them, you should keep them in water, okay, with some salt. This way they will feel like they are in the seawater, okay, and they will open up a little bit to breathe, because there is salt in the water and they think they are in the sea, and they will release all their sand. So that's the way to clean arselle or vongole. As you can see, I've done this a few hours ago, and I can see that the water became already cloudy and quite dirty because they are releasing their water and the sand. This is a fish that live in the sand, so that's why it can contain a lot of sand. So usually in Sardinia, they can do this dish even just with arselle. So an ingredient that is never missing is sun-dried tomatoes. Okay, that I've diced here smaller. You can see them all in one piece. So in places like Sicily or Sardinia, they have such a good sun that they always dry their tomatoes, cut in half with some salt. And I hope, Lorna, we will be able to do a live lesson here on Monday with a lot of sun on my terrace, so I can show you how to do sun-dried tomatoes in UK. Yeah. So the ingredient that is never missing is these sun-dried tomatoes that will give a little bit of sweet flavor of a tomato, and also it will make a little bit like red color and dark color. So in every way, in each way you will cook fregola, sun-dried tomatoes diced very small are never missing in the recipe. Okay. Another ingredient that I didn't say yet is saffron. Sardinia produce a lot of saffron, so it's typical to use it in this preparation, especially with vongole. Okay, so I'm going to dilute my sachet of saffron with some water, and I'm going to add this water to the stock we are producing, using the water that the mussel and clams will release, which is the seawater, so it will make it quite salty and tasty, and also using the fumetto that I'm making using all the shells of these prawns. So to make a real good fumetto, it should be much better that you use fresh prawns. Unfortunately, I don't live in Sardinia, so I don't have fresh prawns here. And I couldn't find them. I went in 3 shops today and we don't have them. If they're not in season, we have tiny little small with a head, sold with a head here in Emilia Romagna, but just when they can catch them. So right now there's any, and the one that we have are frozen. You can do the same. I think in Edinburgh you can find a lot of fresh fish and really good quality, for example. So it would be easy.
Yeah. Would it be a complete disaster, Livia, if you didn't make fumetto, if you just used a fish stock cube? Would that be?
Sure.
Is that not allowed?
You know, it depends on how you want to keep. I mean, how much you want to enjoy your cooking. If you want to relax with a glass of wine while you're cooking and take your time and do the things in a way that it will taste better, then take your time and do it the proper way, caring about everything, every step you're doing. Instead, you can use a fish stock, and that's perfect. It will have a really good result. You know, there are really good quality of fish stocks, very concentrated, even better maybe than the one you can make. But I like to do things myself because I like to have a good result, and especially now that there's not much to do. So I like to do. So now I'm going to start, otherwise we never finish. So I'm going to add some garlic, okay, so that I will cut just in half, some oil, the stalks of the parsley, and the heads and the shells of these prawns. Usually it's the head that release all the juices and make a good quality of fumetto. Okay, so a good quality of stock. So I'm going to start. Okay, so here is the pan. Okay, I can move it here.
And when was the last time you were in Sardinia, Livia?
I think 1 year and a half ago or 2 years with pasta grannies. There are a lot of very strange pastas there. And so we are really finding a lot of varieties, very strange pastas. Like there is one that look like rings, like earrings, for example. It's called oreguitas. And these pastas there are made really just in a few towns, for example. So to find the right granny that can be filmed, you know, and still alive and that do it all the time, it's quite difficult. So we've been very often to film in Sardinia. Now I'm going to add here. So, but usually when we go to Sardinia, which is something quite strange, especially with pasta grannies, and when you do research about food, you would not go on the sea, on the coastline. So I kind of never seen the sea of Sardinia, but I've seen a lot of inland because the tradition to make pasta or the tradition to make bread are usually from the side. So Sardinia is not just the seaside and the coastline. There are so many things about food that you cannot imagine. So it's really like a big place to discover. And avoiding all the coastline and the beautiful sea, you still have a lot of things to do. So this is the
coastline is
suggestion.
lovely though. It's a really beautiful coastline. I remember I got a ferry once from Civitavecchia on the mainland, just north of Rome, to Olbia, and then drove around the north of Sardinia, and it was really beautiful, really stunning. And then went to there's an island called La Maddalena, which is between Sardinia and Corsica. And I remember having a couple of days there, and it was really stunning. It's really beautiful, and there's
Yeah, that means you have done all the posh things. I've never done.
What are you saying, Livia? I was sort of just past university. I was staying in youth hostels and tents and all sorts.
Okay. Actually, you know, I went there to work. I think 3 years ago. 2018. During summer, when we don't do Flavours, when we don't around the holidays, I went to work in the hotel of a friend that has just opened, and he needed some help to set up his restaurant. The hotel restaurant, and I've been there for a month, and it was really exciting. I didn't do much because I was working all the time, but the hotel was near Alghero, so it was in a place called Argentiera. And actually, that's where I got my last cat. I saved her from, Anyway, I like to save animals, And I worked there for a month, and every morning, even just to go to the beach, it was just incredible. Yeah, and the quality of fish was really incredible. Yeah. And that's where I'd learn other recipes. I'm going to add now just an ingredient which maybe you never heard about, which is ice cubes. So the ice cubes will cool down the temperature. Okay, and will make the fish, the heads of the fish, release their
Flavor.
elements, yeah, their flavor slowly. Okay, so that's
And
a
can I
way
just check,
to extract more flavor.
yeah, and can I just check, Livia, the green, is that green beans you've got in the pan? What's the green?
Sorry, no, sorry, I told you. These are the stalks of the parsley. So they are the parsley stalks. That will give a little bit of flavor. So that's why you usually, when you peel the parsley, because usually never use the stalk because they're quite, bitter, and they have a taste. Just cut off these and just leave the leaves. This is what we dicing to use as an ingredient, as a flavoring. Now I'm going to, while we're talking, I'm going to cook first the mussels and clams. I have them here already clean. Okay, I already show you how to clean them in a pan with nothing at all, no garlic, no oil, nothing, because I want to obtain their liquid that I'm going to sieve and add as a stock to the rest of the fumetto when I cook fregola. Okay.
And
so now,
the other question I had, Livia, is I don't like garlic. Are you allowed to cook seafood without garlic? I know.
Yeah, that's very strange. This is not typical from UK, Lorne. Usually everyone loves garlic. Well, that's good. Yeah, yes, sure. It doesn't. Garlic gives quite special flavors, and it goes well with fish. I can tell you that in Italy we don't use as much garlic as everyone thinks. But with fish there are certain fish that can have a strong flavor, which is kept down, let's say, by the use of garlic. Well, you can use shallot, for example. Right. That would go well. So to this way, right now, mussels and clams are live. Live, sorry. They are also live. They are live. And they're going to be, dying. I don't know how to say it in English, sorry. Steaming them. So we need the steam. So I'm closing with a lid. And really, in a few minutes, they are going to be all open. And we are going to be able to take the shell of these mussels and clams off of some of them, and also we're going to be able to strain the liquid. So we're going to be able to use it as a stock.
Yeah, and with the mussels and clams that in that pan that you're steaming, you've got no other water. It's just the water from the clams.
Yeah, nothing at all. They are going to release their liquid, which is actually the seawater that will give a lot of flavor. So this dish can be done as fast as we are doing it, but also you can take your time to prepare it. So for sure you can, produce a better quality of fumetto if you let it cook for a while. For now, you see that the ice cubes are already all melted. You could have done it slower and extract better flavors. Now I'll show you how to clean the prawns, the cicale. Okay, so that, I think you said you've never seen it. So I think that's a Mediterranean sea fish. So with some scissors, you're going to take these kind of, these are like the arms, I don't know, the feet and the arms, I don't know, I piedi. Okay. I want to start to use a little bit of Italian when we do this lesson, so that everyone can learn Italian terms. Actually, Lauren, we have done, well, you know it because you have organized it, an Italian lesson on Thursday. And I think it was really an Italian cooking lesson on Thursday. And I think it was really a great idea because there were many different persons. Also, there was also people that kind of knew just a few words of Italian. But I think they have enjoyed it because I was saying things in English and in Italian, just for everyone to get everything. And there are some terms that you might want to learn how to use them when you read a recipe in Italian, for example, or when you watch a live show, or when you watch on YouTube someone cooking in Italian. So, and I've enjoyed it. Anyway, so I have just to cut this bit off. This is the flesh of this fish, the crustacean that we're going to use. Okay, this is the head and this is the back. Okay, usually these are sold alive. I'm glad that they were not alive when I. My mother really liked them, so this is something that she really liked. Okay, and these, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting, isn't it, when you're trying to learn a language? I remember when I was learning Italian, it was really useful to learn all the cooking vocabulary, you know, soffriggere, tagliare, just there's lots of different words that you could just pick up and just see it put in practice as well. And even just sort of the words for food, you know, pomodoro, cipolla, aglio. It's just, they're just an easy way to learn a language.
It was a nice idea. I think maybe someone have requested, and so we've done it, but I think it was a good idea because I think they all enjoyed it. That's what it seems to be. Okay, so we're taking this bone off inside. Do you have calamari often?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how to clean. Okay, I didn't know if you. Okay, so then you should take the eyes off, but I don't want to show you things that maybe on a video are not really nice. But when you cook, you should learn how to do everything, you know, like with
I always like the use of scissors, and it reminds me. I remember years ago we used to make pizza. One of the villas that we had a massive big pizza oven, and we used to always make pizza. And the cook at the end of the night, she literally got her scissors out and she just chopped up, and she just cut up the pizza with her scissors. And everyone was like, oh, "Haven't you got a pizza slice?" And it was like, "No, your scissors are absolutely fine." And I still use that to this day. I just chop up our pizza with them scissors.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Yeah, scissors are really good to cut the pizza, especially when it's homemade, so it's not cooked in a wood oven, and it's much better, I think, easier. So I cut my prawns. I like to cut them in half here, so that you can take the back off, okay, which is the bits, that are not nice. And also this way, they will be curly, they will become curly and nicer to serve. And one whole big piece of, especially that you should do this when you have big prawns. Yeah.
Yeah, your cat's underneath the flowers, Livia, watching. You can see the cat.
Oh dear. Sorry. Yeah, that's Sophia. Actually, you see, she comes from Amalfi, and she kept this big thing about fish. I found her when I was with Pasta Grannies in Amalfi, Sophia. And she's really educata. She's good. She's well trained, but she likes fish. Sorry, I just saw her. I knew she was in the room, but I don't know where. Okay. So I'm going to add to the fumetto. I'm going to add the water and the saffron. Okay, this is really, it will give a slightly yellow color, and also it gives a lot of flavor. So we always think that we use saffron just for the color, but saffron is used for the flavor mainly. Okay, so this is the mussels and clams that have been opening. I'm going to move the fumetto over here. Okay, and I keep mussels and clams here. We're going to clean some of them. This is a pan where we're going to make fregola, as if it was a risotto. Now Sophia is getting very excited. Sophia, vai via. Okay, so olive oil, as always. Sardinia produce also really good quality of olive oil, so that's another ingredient you can find there. Now, before the pan is too warm, garlic, and after a few seconds, when you can smell the garlic in the air, we're going to add all the sun-dried tomatoes.
Manette's just saying that stock's going to be full of such great flavour. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's a really good flavor when you mix a lot of fresh fish, like this. I'm adding also the wild fennel, because really I got a plant of wild fennel many years ago from Sicily, and I have it in the terrace. It grows up a lot. It never dies, like new shoots all the time. And I like to use it for many recipes. It's used a lot in Sicily, as you know. So I've added here to the fumetto.
Yeah. Is that actually fennel? Is that fennel? It looks more like fennel leaves.
It's wild fennel. So yeah, it got not a lot of leaves. It will make a lot of fennel seeds, flower and then seeds, but it doesn't make really a big bulb. The bulb is always quite thin. So I'm adding now. You see, that's the sun-dried tomatoes and garlic and parsley. I'm adding now the fish. You can add the prawns at the end if they are very small, and they don't need to be too hard, obviously. So And I know that you should add them at the end for them not to cook for too long. But actually, I like in this case to give a lot of flavor to, since I don't have a good quality of prawns because they were not very fresh, I prefer that if they were fresh, I would have had them at the end because they cook very fast. But in this case, it's better like this. Okay. Now I turn it down. And I'm starting to add fregola already, like if it was a risotto, because I got some of our stock ready. I mean, I could have waited a little bit longer, but I can start now.
That does look gorgeous.
This is fregola, as you can see. Okay. So fregola is also toasted. So this is not made by hand, the one you can see right here, and you can see it very clearly. But it has to go in the oven for about 15 minutes. And that makes it toasted. Okay, and that's why you can see darker bits.
And is it the same quantities, is it 50 grams per person, 100 grams per person? Is it quite filling?
Let's say 100 grams per person should be right. Yeah, it grows a little bit while it's cooking, obviously. So that's why it doesn't have to, you don't have to think that it would stay this size, obviously. So, and 100 grams, 80 grams should be fine for each person. Okay, so now I'm going to add some of the mussels after I clean them. Okay, yeah. And I'm going to drain. Come si dice, Lorna? Strain or strain the water? No, drain.
Yeah, drain.
Yeah. It's been drying quite a lot because I left it on too long. But as you can see, there's a little bit of liquid under, which is the one we are looking for, because it will give a lot of flavor to our dish, because it's seawater. And that's what you're looking for. I will leave some all in one piece. And actually, arselle, since they are tiny, small, the one I can find here in Emilia-Romagna, I will add them all with the shell. But if you use big vongole, you should add them without the shell, some of them. I'm going to add wine.
I wondered about that.
White wine. Okay. We let the alcohol evaporate. So when you make a risotto, you should do really the same process.
Yeah. But you've got so you're just replacing the garlic with the shallot that you use with the risotto.
You should use the shallot. Yeah, you can. Shallot is delicate. I think it's better than onion in this case. Okay, so I've added a little bit of water because my mussels and clams, they were not a big amount. Usually I would have used bigger amount, and I left them on quite a while, so the liquid has been released. But as you can see, it's all stuck on the base of the pan. So, okay. And I'm adding this seawater liquid, I've already strained it, to the one that we are still cooking for the fumetto.
I remember we sometimes do, we used to do holidays in Morocco, and actually near the villa in Morocco, they've actually got a saffron farm. And we've done some it's an amazing visit to do, actually. People are actually making saffron and producing it. It's lovely. It's really pretty.
I can imagine, yeah, because those areas, like the same as part of Sicily, but mainly really in Sardinia, there's a lot of production of saffron. Actually, we have visited one, and it's really, they make a lot of money out of taking care of flowers. And I think that could be my job in the future, because I love flowers, so, you know.
Well, Livia, you've got to keep on cooking, I'm afraid.
Yeah, because I think really they care about their flowers and their bulbs, the crocus bulbs, and how much they are in bloom all the time. So, allora, fregola will need about 15 minutes to cook. Now, since I would like to have a bit more amount of stock, I'm adding a bit of water to this fumetto. And before I use it, I warm it, because the fumetto is still on the hob, as you can see, it's still cooking. And as you can see, I'm not using any salt. That's because the seawater is very salty. And also the liquid that is inside the head of the prawns, it's salty. I'm keeping these on the side just for now so that you can see better. I had them just at the end because you should add them at the end since they are already cooked. I'm talking about the mussels, because that way you could, avoid the fact that the fregola gets stuck inside the mussel shell, and then
it doesn't cook.
It doesn't cook properly. Yeah. So to cook it better, add them at the end, since the flavor, we already got the flavor of it because we have already used the water they have released.
I love that saucepan, Livia. We were chatting about that with Letitia on Saturday about the saucepan you've got. It's a very classic Italian saucepan. It's used for
this is a very expensive one. It's Lagostina. I don't know if you can see the brand here, but I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it's Lagostina, which is a really traditional, historical brand for Italian saucepan. And it was really expensive. I remember when I bought it, when I started cooking a lot, enjoying cooking, which doesn't mean cooking in a restaurant. It means when I start doing flavors, maybe, and appreciating food, I spent 60 euros for this pan, which is very expensive. And so I think it's quite expensive, but it lasts forever, and it makes the heat spread better in the pan. So you should use a pan that conduces the electricity, the temperature faster when you want to cook a risotto, or that's why they use copper usually, which is very expensive too, to make a risotto or a fregola like we are doing, or not aluminium, but this metal that I don't know how to call it in English, but it's perfect, produce better heat.
Yeah, we've got a message from Antonio. He's watching. Hello, Antonio. He's saying hugs from Puglia, and today in Puglia it's got a very hot, warm sun and very lovely sea. So yeah, we're not envious.
I know. We always see Antonio pictures, and we always very jealous.
Send us some sunshine.
Really. So there are many ways to cook fregola. I was going to say some other way because some of you will get fregola right at home, so you can have different ways to cook it. You can follow this recipe, but you can also cook it in a different way. For example, you could make it with sausages and sun-dried tomatoes, which is another very typical way. So garlic and sun-dried tomatoes is a base. Diced sun-dried tomatoes, very small, like I've done it. And as you can see, it gave a lot of color. Now, the yellow color is the saffron, but you can also see it got a lot of color because of the red sun-dried tomatoes. So pork sausages, and sun-dried tomatoes is another way you can have it in a restaurant in Sardinia very easily. And maybe also Letizia can, suggest other way, because I'm sure she knows a lot about fregola.
You're saying it's very good in salads as well.
Yeah. And a traditional way we have actually filmed with pasta grannies to cook it. It's with chickpeas. So it's like a chickpea soup, okay? Where the chickpeas, part of them has been blended, and the rest got the same thickness as the fregola, as you can see. So they are all little balls. Quindi fregola is called this way because it comes from, it seems like it's coming from ferculum in Latin, which means briciola, crumbs. So this pasta has been, this kind of main course has been cooked really in the past, even during the Romans. They have, from the 10th century is the first time they actually hear talking about this kind of shape that has been staying in Sardinia and didn't go out. There are a lot of traditions that are just from Sardinia and nowhere else, because it's an island that protects the traditions a lot.
Yeah, but because it was an island, was it not that actually it came from North Africa? It was brought in.
Yeah, for sure. Also, the tradition to make couscous in Sicily, which is a big tradition, and I'm sure also Carla knows how to do it.
There's a very famous couscous festival every year in San Vito lo Capo, which is kind of north. I always think it's kind of like north to that sort of left of Palermo. There's a really pretty little sort of seaside town there, and they do a massive big couscous festival every year in San Vito lo Capo.
Beautiful. Yeah, we actually went to film this year. So we filmed couscous in San Vito lo Capo with pasta grannies this year, and they have this tradition to cook couscous there, and comes from the North Africa influence that they got there. So, okay, so I don't want to say it's almost cooked. For sure, I'm trying to do it quite fast, up to our timing. So I could take a bit longer to cook. You should taste it and see if it's too crunchy. It could absorb more liquid, but right now I'm reducing it to be able to serve it and show you the result, the final result. So that's why I'm doing faster. You could cook it a little bit longer. Cook it like if it was a risotto. So always think you want to cook it like if it was a risotto. So it takes about 10-15 minutes. It depends on the thickness of the fregola. And because you can find a different way. So if you make it at home, which is quite difficult, as I was saying, you should have the right flour to use, like the one that I've just shown you.
We've got it here. There's been quite a few people, actually. A lot of people have been looking for fregola. So Kieran, I'll get them sent out.
Very good.
Yeah, no, it's great. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because we're so used to all the different other kinds of pasta. It's really nice to see something, just a different idea. And it looks really tasty.
Yeah, and the fact that it can be cooked as a risotto makes it very interesting, I think. I really like it. Sometimes, really, I think I prefer it to risotto sometimes because, risotto can be difficult to cook because there's starch and, there are all the elements that are quite difficult to make a good one. You really have to practice a lot to make a good risotto. Yeah. So I like fregola because I think it's actually easier. Okay, so now I'm going to take it off here and I'm going to dish it up. Okay. Okay, I'm here to.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's ready.
Wow. It just looks fantastic. As usual, Livia, I've got my salad for lunch today, but I must have remembered doing something to do with seafood, and I've got some tuna, so I'm obviously.
I know.
No, it looks gorgeous, delicious. I wonder if because everyone's online, I wonder, is anyone going to try and make it? Do let us know or send us a picture. I'm always a bit, I never feel hugely confident about cooking with seafood, but I've been watching you and I was watching Letitia on Saturday afternoon, so I think I must give it a go. It's just something that I've always kind of, as I say, I'm not a very confident cook with seafood. So you're inspiring us, Livia.
Seafood is not difficult if you have fresh one and good. It's really not too difficult and a lot of flavor. So in Edinburgh, you should practice it and use it.
Definitely. And you've got a new plate today, Livia.
Yeah, I got some. These are always from a place in Venice. When I go work for Flavours in Venice, I pass by a shop that I like, is Tognana, when they produce also very good quality of dishes. So when I go there, I buy a stock and then I use it. I think it makes a big difference if you serve food in a nice dish.
It's really nice, actually. Yeah, I think it's what we're all missing, isn't it? Because whenever you go on holiday, you always just see things and you always buy bits and pieces that just remind you of your holidays and holiday souvenirs.
And that's what I'm missing a lot, and that's why we should go back to do these holidays, because otherwise I will finish my dishes. I need something new.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's great. Thank you so much, Livia. That was lovely.
Thank you.
The recipe, Kieran's been manning Facebook. The recipe's in the notes. We've had lots of takers for the fregola, so we'll get those out in the post. And any ideas, Livia? I think you had a few ideas what you were thinking we might cook next week.
Yeah, there are many options. The more we're going towards spring, I think we should do more spring dishes. So in the future, I would like to do a pesto for pasta made with lemon. That I've learned in Procida, which is an island near Naples. Always filming with pasta. Otherwise, since here, if I go to a shop and I see things fresh and I would like to show you and make you feel like you're here, showing you the ingredients as good as they are here in season now, radicchio is very typical. So we have many different kinds of radicchio, and I could show you how to cook with them, because I'm thinking about vegetables that, we would like to do some recipes about sauces and some recipes about vegetables, and another risotto I would like to do once in the future. I think
you could just do a little film for us, Livia, next time you're shopping, we could just see you out and about shopping and your vegetables.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah.
Before the lives, you're shopping before the lives. See what you're up to.
Yeah, so I could do a live on Instagram while I shop for this lesson. Anyway, let's wait and see if everyone that was watching had a suggestion, there's something they would like to learn, or otherwise before we go ahead with what we think.
Yeah, vegetarian. Yeah, nice vegetarian main course. There's minette, pasta with lemon as well. What else have we got?
There are ones I would like to do fresh tomatoes cooked in a different way, because tomatoes can be a boring vegetable, but actually you can cook it in so many different ways here. But I was waiting for the tomatoes to be right to show you the right ingredients, and that's why I was thinking about what is in season here and what I can show you with better quality.
James,
what is in season there? What is in season there right now, Lorna?
We're doing something the other day. Somebody was talking about we're doing some cauliflower recipes. Cavolfiore. We did some cauliflower recipes the other day.
To make it more interesting.
Yeah, I suppose the other thing with us too is, I think the great thing about in Italy, you've still got all your little corner shops selling sort of seasonal vegetables. Whereas with us now, it's very much sort of supermarket driven, and the reality is you can get everything in the supermarkets all year round. So.
Okay, but you got leeks. You have a lot of leeks all the time, and they can be very good quality, right?
Yeah. Remember our friend Vanna from Bologna? She used to always make a really delicate leek risotto, which was interesting. Very delicate. Very delicate flavor.
I remember me and you in in the house that we had for rent, and we made a good risotto with wild garlic and wild leeks. We got them in a farm shop there. So that's why I was thinking to do something that is good for you, but then my ingredients will be not as good as the one you can get there. But, up with it, and then we will decide.
Good. That was lovely. Nice to see you, Livia. Lovely to see everybody else as well. It's really nice. It's a nice Monday crowd we've got. And
thank you very much. It makes me really can't wait for Monday, because I feel like we got company. They follow it and they like it and they commenting after, so it makes me very happy.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's lovely. It's our little Flavours community, which is super. Thank you very much. Thanks for inspiration. We'll get cooking as well. So good. Have a good rest of the day. Take care. All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye.